Hi Pisces, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your September 2021 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic cross spread as always. And I also pulled an Oracle card and a Mudra card for you guys, but we're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus will be as far as that goes. So we'll get started. Alright, so we have the South Node, and that's actually in Sagittarius, which is your 10th house of career and social status. We have the 5th house, which for you guys is Cancer, and that represents romance, creativity, children. And speaking of which, we also got Cancer for the sign as well. So yeah, definitely could be a lot of focus around romance and creativity for you guys this month. It's not really anything going on there transit-wise, but that's what I see. So we'll keep those in mind as we go through the main spread. In the main situation position, we have the Devil. So this is Capricorn energy. So I could see this playing out a few different ways, actually. On one end, this could be around career. It could just be saying that you guys are really singularly focused on your career and social standing, just really heavily focused on that. Maybe even having tunnel vision, just putting in a lot of hours toward that. For some of you, this could also point to maybe some friendships that aren't necessarily the healthiest for you. That's another way I see that playing out. So let me just actually pull in the card from the challenge position while we talk about the different scenarios. In the challenge position, you guys got the 3 of Cups in reverse. So speaking of Cancer energy, we already got that coming up in your cards too. But with this in a reverse position, I can see it playing out a few different ways. So let me give you a tangible example. So let's say you're really focused on work, right? You have these goals that you need to meet and deadlines and whatnot. And you have a group of friends that are like, oh, come on, we haven't seen you for a while. Come out drinking with us, right? And whatever the case may be. And then you guys go out and party with them and you go a little bit over the top. And then the next day, you're not productive because you're hungover or whatever, just a super generic example. So could just be telling you to look at, are there some friends in your environment that maybe aren't the healthiest for you and the goals that you're striving for? Now, to be fair, it could play out another way, which is to say if you guys are putting too much focus on career and aren't spending time with your friends and siblings and family at all, right? That could be saying that that's why it's popping up as a challenge there. It could just be saying you're going a little bit too over the top with the focus on career. Now, that would be, of course, for people where those connections aren't unhealthy for you. It's just that you really hadn't seen them for a while. And what was a third thing that was coming to mind too? Another one could just be saying that you might be experiencing a bit of blockage around your creativity, because given that this is 5th house energy for you guys, let's say you're really plugging away at something and you just can't seem to get the creative spark that you're hoping for. So in any of those cases, I feel like the key could just be to detach a little bit this month. All right, in the foundation position, we have the 10 of Cups in reverse. So this is actually a Pisces energy here. And yeah, I feel like this is saying whatever this Devil energy is pointing to, we covered a few scenarios there. It could just be saying that however it's manifesting in your life, it seems to be a bit unhealthy and keeping you a little bit from your goals. So, the Devil as a whole, naturally with the name, we think of it as a very negative energy, but it could just point more to the excess. So it could just be whatever those scenarios are. It's not necessarily that they're bad by themselves, but taken too far past a certain point, that's where you can hit the negative point. And I feel like you guys might be at that point this month. So that could be why we're seeing that 10 of Cups show up in reverse in the foundation. Now, the good thing is it still did show up. So it is in reverse. It definitely would need a little bit of work for you to get it into the upright, but at least it is available to you this month. So that's the positive. All right. In the past position, we have the 10 of Wands, which is Sagittarius energy, and the 4 of Cups, Cancer energy. So again, like I said, we had the South Node come up, which is in Sagittarius. And then the other 2 cards pointed to Cancerian energy for you guys. So we see that playing out in the past too. Now, this could just be saying, again, heavy focus on career. So with the 10 of Wands, I feel like you're close to getting to your goal anyway. So that's the positive, So if you do kind of, scale it back a little bit. I don't feel like you're going to really lose a lot of progress. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing with that. And then with the Four of Cups, again, like I said, it could just be you're looking for creative ideas, but you're just so far into whatever this goal is that you're aiming for toward. I feel like it's kind of making you lose some of that spark. So that could be some of the difficulty there. And for others of you, could just be saying that you've been so heavily focused on career that, you've pretty much been rejecting anything around love connections. So if that is something you're interested in, given that we do see the Ten of Cups in reverse there, it could just be pointing that out to you, that could be detracting from that area of your life. All right. In the present position, we have the Page of Cups and we have the Four of Swords. So this is Libra energy here. This doesn't point to a specific cup energy, but of course with the Fish in the Cup, sometimes this does seem to point toward Piscean energy. So it could represent you guys possibly wanting to extend an offer, maybe even going through a healing process. But yeah, again, I feel like in a way this is saying that maybe the creativity's starting to come back for you a little bit. But again, with that Fish in the Cup, right, to me that usually represents an idea that might be a bit rushed, right? And really taking the time to look it over and make sure that it was presentable. And with that Four of Swords energy there, it could just be saying that the key might be to just try to detach for a little bit and get a little bit of rest. Let's see if anything else comes to mind with that. And I will say there is going to be a Mercury retrograde actually in Libra in September, toward the end of September. So could be pointing to that too, because that's around the degrees where it's going to start. So just keep that in mind too. All right, in the near future position, we have Judgment in reverse. So in a way, I feel like this is almost like a bit of a divine intervention, the way I'm seeing this, because Judgment usually does represent things coming back around from fast, but with this coming up in reverse, I feel like it's pointing more to if there is something from your past that's a bit negative for you, I feel like there's actually going to be a block from you being able to pursue that again this month. So, for example, let's just say that devil energy represents a toxic romantic connection, right? And maybe when you're involved with this person, you cut off the rest of the world, right? You don't see your friends, your family, or anything. It's always just you're isolated with that person. Could just be one of those situations with the Judgment coming up in reverse in the near future. Could just be saying that there would be a blocked attempt to get back into that connection if you were to attempt to do that this month. All right, in the position of your influence in the situation, we have the Empress in reverse. So this is Venusian energy here. Usually I view it as more of the Taurus side because it has that very earthy vibe in the background, but it could point to Libra energy as well since they're also ruled by Venus. But with this coming up in reverse, I feel like this is just pointing to the same thing I was feeling with the devil energy, which is to say you guys aren't really taking that time off to enjoy yourselves a little bit, to relax, unwind, and then that could actually help spark your creativity. Because, of course, with the Empress in the upright, we do tend to think of creativity, even pregnancy and whatnot, when it's in the upright. So could just be saying that that's the key there, that you're preventing yourself from resting. And then that could actually, you might view that as a positive, like, no, I have this goal I really want to hit, right? So I'm just going to keep plugging away, working really hard. But then the downside of that is if you burn yourself out, then the quality of your work that you're putting in isn't where it normally would be. So it's almost like wasted effort in a way, but yeah, so overall, if you're able to do that, I would say definitely try to take a little bit of time to rest and relax. Maybe go out in nature for a little bit this month, and that might actually help get you back in line. All right, in the environment position, we have the Six of Wands. So this is Leo energy here, and usually that does point to victory, being celebrated, getting some public recognition. Now for you guys, this is your sixth house, so can this represent that maybe in your work life, you are going to be recognized for the work that you've put in. I'm trying to think if anything else comes to mind with this. This can represent someone else in your environment too, but really I'm feeling like this is focused primarily on you this month, so that's what I'm picking up on primarily there. And let's see. In hopes or fears position, we have the Seven of Cups. So yeah, that could be part of what it is too. I feel like this is saying you might intuitively know that you're not seeing everything clearly, right? But yet there's that fear of, okay, well, if you were to take the time off, you might miss out on an opportunity. That's kind of what I feel like you're afraid of there in that regard. But like I always point out when this card comes out, we could see what's in those cups quite clearly, but this person's literally in the dark, so it could just be saying that you're not seeing the situation clearly. And again, I feel like the key there would just be to disconnect briefly. Like I said, even if you just go take a day to go hiking or something like that, I feel like that's really going to help rejuvenate you guys quite a bit and help you get refocused and feel like that creative spark is back. All right. And in the outcome position, we have the Ace of Swords. So this usually represents getting sudden insights. For some of you, at the time of recording this, we haven't had that second full moon in Aquarius yet. So right before Leo season ends, we're going to have that second full moon in Aquarius. It's going to be pretty close to Jupiter too. So for some of you, it might actually be as early as that point when you might get this sudden insight. But if not, there will also be a full moon in your sign. So I feel like that could be another point where you might see a significant chance of you getting that insight that helps you see the situation more clearly, and then obviously you get some positive forward movement with that. And speaking of positive forward movement, we have the Knight of Cups at the bottom of the deck, and this is actually the court card for your sign. So yeah, overall, I think you guys will end up on the right path. Like I said, this Judgment in reverse is coming across to me as like a bit of a divine intervention. So like I said, if you do try to go back towards something that you shouldn't, I feel like there will be some kind of blockage there. So that's the good thing. That's not always how I would interpret this card in the reverse, but that's really what I'm feeling pretty heavily with this particular spread. So hopefully that resonated with you guys. All right, we'll move on to your oracle card. We have Observer. There's the artwork, and the number is 49. Interesting, he's looking at the moon too. So yeah, like I said, definitely keep an eye out for that second Aquarius full moon we have coming up, and then also the full moon in your sign. I think there could be some significance there. Okay, it says perspective, objectivity, neutral observation from a distance. The oracle's message: most people see the world through a personal lens. They closely identify with their feelings and experiences, so much so that they come to believe that these are the only reality. There are times when you need distance in order to gain perspective and understand your circumstances from a more neutral vantage point. Now is one of those times in your life. This is a perfect moment for you to begin to do some exploring. Instead of only considering yourself, consider what you need to understand about the conditions, people, culture, and environment you're engaged with now. You'll be so happy you did. Illumination is the miracle you seek and will indeed find. So yeah, reading that there definitely made me think of when it said a perfect moment for you to begin to do some exploring. Like I said, that made me feel what I was saying with the Empress in reverse could just be saying that you might need to just get out in nature for a little bit. Could just be as simple as that. Like I said, if there is, especially if you are having some struggle with your creativity, feeling like it's a bit lacking, I feel like that's really going to re-spark that for you. The relationship message says, sometimes you just can't see the forest for the trees in your way. Feelings get all jumbled up, and often you hear one thing when a person says another. It can be like an echo of an unresolved past experience dubbed over your conversation. Take time out before you react. It's likely the other person has no idea how his or her words have affected you. Take a few steps back and lend understanding to the situation. Have faith in your connection and trust that you can come together. Take the higher ground now and cultivate curiosity about what you observe in yourself, in others, and in the landscape. You will find things much improved sooner than you know. So a pretty positive message there. Like I said, I didn't get a huge one-to-one relationship vibe here, but I will say with that Six of Wands in the environment could just be saying that the person you're dealing with is actually going through some successes as well. So hopefully that resonated with you. And the prosperity message says, it is an advantageous time for you to get some distance from what you're doing and see your work and your projects from a different perspective. The trick is to connect to the essence of your goals and aspirations while letting the form and timing be dictated by spirit. You may be too personally attached to an outcome and unable to see the miracle because it's not turning out exactly as you planned. Trust spirit. The perfect version of your abundance is right in front of you. Remain neutral and curious and watch the miracle unfold. So yeah, definitely a pretty positive message there. Like I said, it definitely makes me feel what I was feeling when we were talking about the devil energy, where you might just be so heavily focused on something and it might actually be hindering you in some ways, where I feel like your intentions are definitely good, but I feel like you might not be as clear to you that, okay, yes, I'm working really hard, but I'm also not at 100% because I'm approaching burnout, so the quality of my work isn't quite where it would be, so that's what I'm kind of feeling there. So hopefully that resonated with you. And lastly, we'll look at your mudra. So this is your mudra for month here. It's the Kilaka mudra, and the keyword for it is union. All right, and there's the info on it if you want to pause it or take a screenshot to read what it has to say. But it says tonifies the water element in the body, improves the function of the kidneys, bladder, and sexual glands, fosters a sense of emotional safety and comfort around intimacy and sexuality. Can also be used as a devotional gesture to express or evoke the union of masculine, Shiva, and feminine, Shakti. So if that sounds like something you think would be beneficial for you guys, I will put the name of the mudra in the description video as always. We'll wrap up there and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.